And now, according to CBI sources, CBI investigation in NEET-UG exam paper leak case in Bihar has revealed that the leak of exam paper was local and not widespread, as was being mentioned by Ananya Bhatnagar and Sherin Elizabeth. In fact, CBI has also submitted the status report on its investigation to the Supreme Court. Anshul Singh continues to stay with us with more details on this. Anshul, what are the more details we're getting about the status report that has been submitted by the CBI in this matter?
Well, definitely at this point in time, the investigation is half-baked. Now, since the hearing has been taken up by the Supreme Court, it was given the Supreme Court had given these orders to the CBI to submit its status report. Now, in the status report, the CBI has found out that the paper leaks that allegedly happened in Bihar were very much localized and were not happening at a national level. But the investigation is still on in this entire matter. 7 to 8 people have already, in fact, more than 10 people have already been taken into custody by the Central Bureau of Investigation. Few students have also been arrested by the Central Bureau of Investigation as well. But still, it is not very clear, as the investigation has still not come to an end, if at all this was a localized thing that had happened or this was happening at a wider nexus. And the CBI has just gone ahead and submitted a status report of the investigation that it has carried out in this entire matter till now. Remember, CBI had taken over the investigation approximately, if I remember it correctly, approximately 28th of June, and it has just been 20 days since they have carried out this entire investigation. So the investigation is still at its initial stages. The proofs and the investigation that has been done by the Central Bureau of Investigation, and that still points out that the leaks that happened at a localized level. However, if we speak about the Bihar investigation specifically, the main accused, Sanjeev Mukhya, is still at large. They still haven't been able to nab him, and that is the reason why it still cannot be cleared if at all Sanjeev Mukhya, who is accused of being the head of this entire nexus, was he actually involved in sending those papers to other places as well, because we have also carried out an extensive investigation in this entire matter, and what we had found out that these question papers were actually given to PG level doctors to solve, and then the solved question papers were eventually given to these students. So when these question papers were given to those PG students, did a leak happen from there as well? At what time did this leak happen? Because in the investigation it has come out that the leak happened at approximately 10 AM on the very day that the exam was supposed to take place. Apart from this, there are other irregularities that have come up. A few of the cases that have not been taken up by the Central Bureau of Investigation. One of that case was very much out here in the national capital, where police from the New Delhi district had gone ahead and arrested 4 to 5 people for impersonating as dummy candidates and going ahead and giving the NEET exam. So definitely there are several discrepancies that have come out in this entire matter, be it localized or at a national level. Now the CBI is trying to find out if at all there is a larger nexus that is at play. There is a larger conspiracy that is at play. At this point in time, it seems like it is localized, but it is happening in so many different pockets that it is going to be very tough for the Central Bureau of Investigation and the government to actually give this go ahead and give this confidence to the court and to the students that only a handful of students have been benefited, because the investigations are still underway and time is something that is running out, not only for the courts but also for the students who are eagerly waiting for the counseling processes to start.
All right, Anshul, please stay with us. Ananya, coming back to you, the Supreme Court has also sought details from the centre and the NTA on the wrongdoers in the NEET examination. Tell us more about it.
The National Testing Agency, in its extensive affidavit, and I'll read down certain portions of that affidavit for you as well, wherein the National Testing Agency has also said about the confidentiality of this whole paper, and I read and I quote that confidentiality of this question paper is that inbuilt checks and balances are devised in the procedure of the NTA, which is not only to eliminate any possibility of breach, but also ensures that the movement of the question papers is tracked on a real-time basis by the use of technology. Any breach, interference, manipulation at any stage of the transportation is recorded and reported. And so basically the NTA going on to say that the confidentiality of the question papers are intact. They are checked on in fact every level, and there is a real-time tracking that happens when the question papers travel either to the lockers or in fact to the examination centers as well. So very clearly the NTA defending its stand that there is no kind of a large-scale paper leak, though there have been certain incidents of paper leaks on a small scale in Bihar, in Godhra, but at this particular point of time there is no kind of a large-scale malpractice that could actually lead to a re-NEET in this particular case, and that's exactly what the stand of the central government has been since the very beginning, that doing a re-NEET is not only an extensive exercise but also like playing with the future of over 23 lakh students.
All right, Ananya, please stay with us. Sharon, coming to you, is the centre and the NTA planning to change the strategy, the system for conducting the NEET examination next year?
Well, absolutely. And in fact, in the affidavit that has been accessed by Ananya, detailed points have in fact been put up by the National Testing Agency to ensure how coming future, whenever such exams, be it the JEE or the NEET-UG examination or UGC NET, how are the NTA going to make sure that such paper leak or such malpractices doesn't happen. They have also pointed out that how there is in fact a high committee that has been constituted by the Education Ministry. They are going to come up with steps to ensure that such malpractices doesn't happen. This particular committee is headed by the former ISRO chairperson. Apart from that, they have also in fact been saying that they are going to in fact, some of the exams are in pen paper mode, so they will change it to computer based tests. So there is no scope of any sort of malpractices or irregularity that can take place in these competitive examinations. So a detailed points have in fact been put out by the National Testing Agency, that what are the measures and steps they will be taking in future to ensure that there is not going to be any sort of paper leak. But the question, of course, is that like you earlier pointed out, that paper leak has happened, and in Bihar and Godhra has happened, and now the students have been saying because of this paper leak there's an inflated scores, and that is why they are not going to get into the colleges that is preferred by them. Remember, when we talk about these students, some of them have scored 500, 620, which is on a normal day it's considered to be a very good score. But because of the inflated score, these students who, for example, if one student wants to get into AIIMS, will not be able to get into AIIMS even with 690 score, because the scores have been inflated so much. And that is the point that is being raised by the students, is that we need a re-examination, because 67 students, because of the paper leak, alleged paper leak, has in fact scored this much scores in this particular examination. That has also been addressed by the NTA, where they have specifically saying that only out of this 67, only 17 students have scored 720 out of 720. Rest of the students have in fact got grace mark, or they have in fact been given a provisional answers key, because there is one question in physics section that was wrong. And that is why around 67 of these students have got grace mark. But overall, only 17 students have in fact got 720 out of 720. So there is no inflated score because of the paper leak. They also have in fact been highlighting that how 25% of the syllabus has in fact been reduced, and that is why probably this has come on as an easy examination for the students, and that is why these many students were able to score 720 out of 720. So no malpractices, widespread malpractices or paper leak has happened, is what is being stated by the NTA, and accordingly they have been saying no for a re-examination. Of course, we have to see how the students are going to react to this, affidavit that has been submitted by the NTA.
All right, Sharon, please stay with us. We're getting some more breaking news.